Okay, begin.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, members. This afternoon's second lecture will be coming from the Leadership Experience, 4th edition by Richard L. Daft. Our presenters today would be Kevin John, Dixian Holder, and myself, Leon Joe. This chapter outlines strategic leadership, leadership vision, mission, strategy in action, the leader's contribution, and the leader's impact. At the end of this presentation, you should be able to explain the relationship among vision, mission, strategy, and implementation mechanisms. Create your personal leadership vision. Use the common themes of powerful vision in your life and work. Describe 4 basic approaches of forming a noble purpose that followers can believe in. Understand how leaders formulate and implement strategy, and apply the elements of effective strategy. Here we have a quote by Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy said, "To become the kind of leader that people want to follow voluntarily, even if you had no title or position." Strategic leadership. Strategic leadership is the ability to anticipate and envision the future, maintain flexibility, think strategically, and initiate changes that will create a competitive advantage for the organization in the future. Now, in a fast-learning world, leaders are faced with the bewildering array of complex and ambiguous information, and no two leaders see things the same way or make the same choices. The complexity of the environment and the uncertainty of the future can overwhelm a leader. Thus, many are inclined to focus on internal organizational issues rather than strategic activities. It is easier and more comforting for leaders to deal with routine operational issues where they can see instant results and feel a sense of control. In addition, many leaders today are inducted with information. They may have difficulty finding quiet time for what we call the bigger picture. Thinking strategically as a leader. As a leader, you can learn to think strategically. You can anticipate and envision the future and initiate changes that can help the group or organization thrive over the long term. Here we have a little drawing here of a pyramid that illustrates the domain of strategic leadership. This pyramid illustrates that the levels that make up the domain of strategic leadership. Strategic leadership is responsible for the relationship of the external environment to choices about vision, mission, strategy, and their implementation. Now, at the top of this pyramid is a clear vision of where the organization wants to be in 5 to 10 years. What the vision reflects is the environment and work in concern with the company's mission, its core values, purpose, and reasons for existence. The strategy provides the direction for translating the vision into action, and it's the basis of the development of specific mechanisms to help the organization achieve its goals. Strategies are intentions, whereas implementations is taught through basic organization architecture that make things happen. Each level of this hierarchical pyramid supports the level above it. And we'll be going through this throughout this chapter. Vision. Vision is an attractive ideal future that is credible, not yet readily attainable. Right? Vision can be thought of as a dream for the future. We have an example here of Stanford R. Ovitsky spent over 40 years pursuing a dream of making giant sheets of thin photovoltaic material that can convert sunlight to electricity and make them cheaply enough so that solar can compete with fossil fuel. Nobody believed him at first, not even his own company, when he said that they were going to make it. Today, energy conversion devices use a mammoth machine the size of a football field to spool out long sheets of solar material that is used on the roofs of homes and businesses. Even at full capacity, the factory can't keep up with the orders. A vision is also more than a dream. It is a bold view that the future that everyone involved can believe in, one that can realistically be achieved, yet one that offers a future that is better in important ways than what exists now. For organizations, a vision is an attractive, ideal future that is credible yet readily attainable. Here we have a little exercise here. In your textbook, you will see it on page 309. And answer the questions to learn where you stand. To answer these questions, you will learn where you stand with respect to personal vision. Now, how much do you think about positive outcomes you want in your future? Do you have a personal vision for your life? Indicate with each item is mostly false or truly or mostly true. How you go about scoring? Add the number of mostly true answers for your score. A score of 7 or above indicates that you are in great shape with respect to your personal vision. If you score below 3, it suggests that you didn't give much thought into the vision of your life. And if you score between 4 and 8, that would just be about average. So when I get time, you could go to page 390 and do this exercise. Here are some brief vision statements. Right. This here illustrates a few brief vision statements that let people know where the organization wants to be in the future. For Motorola, it's becoming the premier company in the world. New York City Transit, no graffiti. BP, beyond petroleum. Now, not all successful organizations have short, easily communicated slogans, but their visions are powerful because leaders paint a compelling picture of where the organization wants to go. The vision expressed by civil rights leader Martin Luther King in his "I Have a Dream" speech is a good example of how leaders paint a vision in words. King articulated that a vision of racial harmony where discrimination was non-existent, and he conveyed the confidence and conviction that this vision would someday be achieved. Strong, inspiring visions have been associated with higher organizational performance. When people are encouraged by a picture of what the organization can be in the future, they can help take it there. This here is an illustration of where the nature of the vision. This vision shows a guiding star drawing everyone along the same path towards the future. Vision is based on a current reality, but is concerned with the future as it's substantially different from the status quo. taking the group or organization along this path requires a leader. Here's another exercise. This one is a bit different. So in this one, you will think about a situation where you either assume or given a leadership role in a group. Imagine your own behavior as a leader. Every time you had to form a group, you always say Barry White name calling. Imagine Barry White. To what extent do you follow statements characterize your leadership? Indicate whether the item is most false or most true. How you'll score yourself in this one is that the odd numbers question pertains to a certain vision for the group. The even numbers questions pertain to implementation of the vision. Calculate the score for each set of questions. Which score is higher? Now compare that to someone else's score. The question pertains to 2 dimensions of visionary leadership. Creating the vision has to do with whether you think about the future, whether you are excited about the future, and whether you engage others in the future. Implementation of the vision is about the extent to which you communicate, allocate the work, and provide rewards of activities and achieve the vision. Which of the 2 dimensions is easier for you? Are your scores consistent with the understanding of your own strengths and weaknesses? What might you do to improve your scores? Here we have what vision does. Now, vision does a couple things. It links the present to the future. It energizes people and gains commitment. It gives meaning to work. And vision establishes a standard of excellence and integrity. With the linking the present to the future, vision works in several important ways. An effective vision provides a link between today and tomorrow, serves to energize and motivate employees towards the future, provides meaning for people's work, and sets a standard of excellence and integrity in the organization. Vision energizes people and gains commitment. People want to feel enthusiastic about their work. Many people donate their time and energy voluntarily because they believe in political campaigning, community events, and environmental causes. I know nobody in here should be politically campaigning. The same people often leave their energy and enthusiasm at home when they go to work because they don't have anything to inspire them on the job. People are not generally willing to make emotional commitment for just the sake of increasing the profits and enhancing shareholders' wealth. Vision needs to transcend the bottom line because people are willing and eager to commit to something truly worthwhile, something that makes life better for others or improve their community. Vision gives meaning to work. People also need to find dignity and meaning in their work. Even people performing routine tasks can find pride in their work when they have a larger purpose for what they do. For example, a clerk who works on the job processing insurance claims will feel very different than one who thinks of their job as victims of a fire or burglary, helping victims of fire or burglary put their lives back in order. Another example is a housekeeper at ServiceMaster company. She explained that she is enthusiastic about her work at the community hospital because leaders help her see the job as more than just cleaning floors. The housekeeper considered herself as an important member of the team that is dedicated to helping sick people get well. Without quality cleaning, she points out that hospital could not serve their patients well and will soon be out of business. People draw onto companies that offer them a chance to do something meaningful, Today, prospective employees often ask about the company's vision when interviewed for a job because they want to know that the organization aims for them, how or whether they will fit in. Vision establishes standards of excellence and integrity. A powerful vision frees people from providing the team with challenging and requires them to give their best. In addition, vision provides a measure by which employees can gauge their contribution to the organization. Most workers welcome a chance to see their work fits in to the whole. Think of how frustrating it is watching a movie from a projector that is out of focus. Today's complex, fast-changing business environment often seems just like that, out of focus. The vision is the focus button. It clarifies the image in the future and lets people see how they can contribute. A vision presents a challenge, asking people to go where they have not gone before. It encourages workers to take risks and find new ways of doing things. In this chapter, this box discusses 3 quality and powerful vision can inspire. Vision clarifies, connects the core values and the ideals of the organization, thus sets a standard of integrity for employees. A good vision brings out the best in people by illuminating the important values, speaking to people. Common themes of vision. Here we have some more points under the common themes of vision. Vision has a broad appeal. Vision deals with change. Vision encourages faith and hope. Vision reflects high ideals. Vision defines the destination and the journey. Common themes of vision. Percentage of employees who are engaged with the work say they are paid approximately plan to be with the company 1 year from now. Recommend their company is a place where you would work and recommend other persons. Vision has a broad appeal. Although it may be obvious that a vision can be achieved only through people, many visions fail to adequately involve employees. Isolated top leaders may come with a grand idea that other employees find ridiculous, or they might fight to achieve. The vision requires understanding and commitment throughout the organization. Most people originally thought of Stanford Hubisky's idea as inexpensive films that solar power is ridiculous. If it had not been for investors, managers, engineers, and other employees in the vision, it would have never become a reality. The vision cannot be the property of the leader alone. The ideal vision is identified with the organization, not with a single leader or even a top leadership team. It grabs people in the gut and motivates them to work towards the common end. It allows everyone to act independently, but in the same direction. Vision deals with change. Vision that works help the organization achieve bold change. Vision is about action and challenges people to make important changes towards a better future. Change can be frightening, but a clear sense of direction helps people face the difficulties and uncertainties involved in change. When employees have a guiding vision, everyday decisions and action throughout the organization responds to current problems and challenges in ways that move the organization towards the future rather than maintain the status quo. Vision encourages faith and hope. Vision exists only in the imagination. It is a picture of the world that cannot be observed or verified in advance. The future is shaped by people who believe in it, and a powerful vision helps people believe that they can be effective, that there is a better future they can move to through their own commitment and actions. Vision is an emotional appeal to our fundamental human needs and desires, to feel important and useful, to believe we can make a difference in the world. A powerful, clearly articulated vision helps people believe in a future that cannot see. Vision reflects high ideals. Good visions are idealistic. Visions that portray an uplifting future have the power to inspire and energize people. Referring to an example when Kennedy announced that the man on the moon visit NASA had only a small amount of knowledge it would need to be accomplished. It was a big risk for Ford at the time when the company was down and out, but leaders portrayed this as a chance not only to save the company, but to establish a whole new path in automotive engineering, which tapped into employees' imaginations and idealism. Vision defines the destination and the journey. A good vision for the future includes specific outcomes that the organization wants to achieve. It also incorporates underlying values that will help the organization get there. For example, a private business school might specify certain outcomes such as 20 top ranking place 90% of students in similar leadership internships and get 80% of students into the jobs by June of the graduating year. Now, to develop a shared vision, leaders share their personal vision with others and encourage others to express their dreams for the future. This requires openness, good listening skills, and the courage to connect with people on an emotional level. A leader's ultimate responsibility is to be in touch with the hopes and dreams that drive employees and find common ground that builds personal dreams into shared vision for the organization. As one successful leader put it, my job fundamentally is listening to what organization is trying to say and then make sure that is forcefully articulated. Another successful leader refers to leadership as discovering the company's destiny and having the courage to follow it. I will now pass you on to my colleague, Kevin John.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bisoon. Good afternoon, fellow classmates. Thank you, Mr. Duke, for the informative contribution on strategic leadership and leadership vision. I am Kevin John, and I would now present to you on mission and strategy. The mission of a company differs from its vision, and but the two work together. What is mission? Mission is the organization's core broad purpose and reason for existence. It defines the company's core values and reason for being, and it provides a basis for creating the vision. Whereas vision is an ambitious desire for the future, mission is what the organization stands for in a larger sense. Let's look at two companies, Zenith and Motorola. The two were once successful makers of television. Zenith continued manufacturing television while Motorola transitioned to manufacturing microprocessors, integrated circuits, cellular phones, modems, and a variety of other products, making them become one of the most highly regarded companies in technology. Motorola's success was attributed to its mission, applying technology to benefit the public. When you compare that to Zenith's mission of making television sets. Next slide, please. What the mission does. Vision continues to evolve, unlike the mission, which persists regardless of changing technology, economic conditions, or environmental shifts. The mission binds the organization together in time of change and guides strategic choices, decisions, and choices people make about the future. That is what the mission does. Mission defines the enduring character or the spiritual DNA of the organization and can be used as a leadership tool to help employees find the meaning in their work. I think we all can recall intrinsic reward, which was previously introduced. But just to remind you, intrinsic reward is an internal satisfaction a person receives in the process of performing a particular action. Employees' mental fitness and well-being help them connect to a greater purpose in their work. The Gallup organization, a management consultancy agency, has found that when employees believe the company's mission, it makes the job more important. They are typically more engaged in their work, feeling a greater sense of pride and loyalty, and they become more productive. Next slide, please. Power of a strong mission. This bar chart compares the Gallup results for those who agree that the mission makes their job important to those who do not feel that the mission of the company makes their job important. The blue or the light green color represent those who agree, and the darker green or the black represent those who disagree. To look at how the mission made people feel who are engaged at work, you realize that 60% of the respondents who agreed feel that the vision is important and they feel more engaged in their work, whereas 0% of the respondents who disagree felt engaged at their work. Also, 66% of those who agree that the mission made the job important would recommend their company products or services, compared to only 20% of those who do not believe the mission made their job important. Next slide, please. There are two critical parts to the mission. The mission is made up of two critical parts, the core values and the core purpose. The core values guide the organization no matter what. These values support your vision and shape your company culture. We all have core values. For example, integrity, respect, responsibility, and sportsmanship. Ralph Larson, the former CEO of Johnson & Johnson, said, "The core values embodied in our credo might be a competitive advantage, but that is not why we have them. We have them because they define for us what we stand for and what would hold them even if they become competitive disadvantage in certain situations." Johnson & Johnson core values led the company to a voluntary removal of Tylenol from the market after a cyanide poison poisoning of some of the cyanide capsule users. This act cost the company more than 100 million. Not sure how many of us could recall the incident, but it took place in September 29, 1982, where in a space of a few days, 7 people died in Chicago area after taking the cyanide-laced capsules of the extra-strength cyanide. At the time, the painkiller was the company's best-selling product. Next slide, please. A leader's framework for a noble purpose. A powerful mission statement doesn't just describe products or services. It captures people's idealistic motivation for why the organization exists. Successful companies have a mission that proclaims a noble purpose. For example, Motorola, whose mission proclaims a noble purpose of applying technology to the benefit of the public. Leaders are responsible for framing the noble purpose that inspires and leads followers to high performance and help organizations maintain a competitive advantage. People like to have a sense that they are doing matters that make positive difference to the world. Leaders in any type of organization can tap into people's desire to contribute and make a difference. Next slide, please. There are 4 basic approaches leaders take in framing an organizational purpose that help people feel their work is worthwhile. That's discovery, excellence, altruism, and heroism. If we look at discovery, there are many people who are inspired by the opportunity to find or create something new. Discovery for its own sake can serve as a noble purpose. This type of purpose inspires people to see adventure in their work and experience the joy of pioneering or entrepreneurial spirit. Take Google, for example. People are energized by the psychic rewards they get from working on intellectually stimulating and challenging technical problems. Not measurable in terms of money or goods, but serving as an incentive to work in certain occupations or situations. It is the purpose that inspires people to see the adventure in their work and experience the joy of pioneering the entrepreneurial spirit. Now look at excellence. This approach, leaders focus on being the best, both on individual and organizational levels. Excellence is defined by the work itself rather than by the customers. Organizations that pursue excellence would rather turn customers away than compromise their quality. For example, Apple. They have always built high quality design computers, yet still a whole 5% of the personal computer market. The leaders would like to increase their share market, but they aren't willing to sacrifice the commitment to higher quality and what they consider superior technology. With excellence as a guiding purpose in companies, managers and employees are treated as valuable resources and provided with the support to perform at their peak. People are motivated by the opportunity to experience intrinsic rewards and personal fulfillment. Altruism is based on providing service, and most non-profit organizations are based on altruism. Other businesses can use this approach as well. Any company that puts a high premium on customer service can be considered to fall into this category. Leaders at Dollar General emphasize that the purpose of low-income people must have a good deal, not just making sales and profit. Marriott also encapsulates the purpose of a slogan, the spirit to serve. The basis of action of this type of purpose is to increase personal happiness. Most people feel good when they're doing something to help others or to make communities or the world a better place. Heroism is the company purpose of being strong, aggressive, and effective. Companies with this basis of noble purpose often reflect almost an obsession of winning. For example, Bill Gates, he inspired Microsoft with a goal of putting Windows operating systems into every personal computer. In this approach, the basis of action is people's desire to achieve and experience self-efficacy. People want to feel capable of being effective and producing results. Companies remain successful over a long term. Companies who remain successful over a long term have top executives who lead with a noble purpose. A well-chosen noble purpose taps into the emotions and instincts of employees and customers. It contributes to better morale, greater innovativeness, and higher employee and organizational performance. Next slide, please. Strategy in action. A strong mission which reflects a noble purpose and guiding vision is important, but these two are not sufficient alone to make a strong, powerful organization. In order for organizations to succeed, they must formulate ways to translate vision, values, and purpose into action. This translation is the role of strategy. Formulating strategy is no easy task. It requires dedication towards work and taking calculated steps towards the future. Strategic management is the set of decision and action used to formulate and implement specific strategies that will achieve a competitively superior fit between organization and its environment to achieve organization's goals. As a leader, you would fit and translate strategy into action. Next slide, please. Deciding where to go. What is strategy? Strategy can be defined as a general plan of action that describes resource allocation and other activities for dealing with the environment and helping the organization attain its goals. In the formulation of strategy, leaders ask questions such as, where is the organization now? Where does the organization want to be? What changes and trends are occurring in the competitive environment? What course of action can help us achieve our vision? By actively listening to people inside and outside the organization, examining trends and discontinuities, leaders can use these to gain an edge in developing effective strategies. This ability to actively listen makes strategic leaders proactive as opposed to being reactive to future changes in the environment. With innovative thinking comes risk. Leaders sometimes have to shift their strategy several times before producing the right formula. The environment is forever evolving, and your strategies also have to evolve to adapt. Successful leaders develop strategies that focus on three qualities: core competence, developing synergy, and creating value for customers. An organization's core competence is something the organization does extremely well in comparison to competitors. Leaders try to identify the organization's unique strengths and what makes the organization different from others in the industry. Synergy occurs when organizational parts interact to produce a joint effect that is greater than the sum of the parts acting alone. As a result, the organization may attain a special advantage with respect to cost, market power, technology, or employee skills. One way companies gain synergy is through alliances and partnerships. Focusing on the core competencies and attaining synergy helps companies create value for their customers. Value can be defined as a combination of benefits received and costs paid by the customer. Delivering value to the customer is at the heart of synergy. Next slide, please. Strategic formulation. Strategic formulation integrates knowledge of the environment, vision, and mission with a company's core competence in such a way as to achieve synergy and create value for customers. When these elements are brought together, the company has an excellent chance to succeed in the competitive environment. But to do so, leaders have to ensure that strategies are implemented. That actual behavior within the organization that reflects the desired direction. Next slide, please. Deciding how to get there in strategy in action. We have strategy implementation. Strategy implementation is putting strategy into action by adjusting various parts of the organization and directing resources to accomplish strategic goals. Strategy is implemented through specific mechanisms, techniques, or tools for directing organizational resources to accomplish these strategic goals. It is the basic architecture of how things get done in an organization. It is the most important as well as the most difficult part of strategic management, and strategic and leaders must carefully and consistently manage the implementation process and achieve results. Strategy implementation involves using several tools or parts of the organization that can be adjusted to put strategy into action. As an example of using leadership in strategy implementation, we say like the manager of a department store implements a strategy for better customer service by pumping up more, being physically present on the sales floor, encouraging greater, speaking enthusiastically with employees. Strategy is also implemented through organizational elements, such as structural design, pay or reward, budget allocation, and organizational rules, policy, or procedures. Leaders are responsible for making decisions about change in structure, system, policies, and so forth to support the company's strategic direction. Next slide, please. In making strategic direction, if you look at this diagram, you see that leaders make decisions every day, some large, some small. All the decisions they make support the company's strategy. This diagram provides a simplified model on how leaders make strategic decisions. The two decisions considered are whether a particular choice will have a high or a low strategy impact on the business, whether implementation of the decision will be easy or difficult, A change that both produces a high strategic impact and is easy to implement would be the leader's first choice in putting strategy into action. This brings me to the end of my BUSI presentation, and I'll hand you over to Dixie and Thomas Holder.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you, Joe. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, members of the class. My name is Dixie Holder, and I'll be talking about the leader's contribution. Everyone hearing me? Got the internet dropping?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. The leader's contribution. The greatest contribution of a leader is to make others lead. That's a quote by Simon Sinek that I found that was really interesting. Leaders are here to inspire and provide a clear path and goal for their team and to provide directions. Managers focus on managing work and output, and leaders focus on people and leading them to achieve overall objective. Leaders contribute so many things to their group, providing directions, inspiration, and guidance. Right? Leaders exhibit courage, passion, confidence, commitment, and achieve common goal. Right? As a leader, you untimely responsibility for establishing direction through vision and strategy. The previous state leaders are here to inspire and provide a clear path and goal for their teams and to provide directions. Hopes and dreams for the future are what keep us moving forward. People tend to work harder when they have a good leader. However, for leaders to make a real difference, they have to link those dreams with strategic actions. A vision has to be translated into specific goals, objectives, and plans so that employees know how to move forward and for the desired future. This is a crucial part of every organization, because without effective leadership, the company could collapse. Next slide, please. The difference between a leader and a non-leader. Right, so I have identified 6 traits that differentiate leaders from a non-leader. Right, these traits that I have identified have been some of my personal experience that I have experienced in work with different leaders. Next slide, please. And the difference between a leader and a non-leader. Leaders grow your mind, while non-leaders look to control your mind. Leaders have value to offer others. Non-leader hasn't yet found a value to offer others. Leaders are courageous through fear. Non-leader is scared. Leader empower you, and non-leader holds you down. Leader create a positive vision for all, and non-leader create a them versus us. Right? I know most of us here have come across all different type of leaders in our workplace. Right? Even the ones who hold on position but cannot lead, cannot lead. Right? Next slide, please. Don't have to rush all at once. We can take part of it just for a few seconds. Right? The question: what type of leader you think you are? So, what makes a leader stand out to you? Do you see yourself as a leader? And did you ever had any experience working with someone who is a non-leader? Anyone could jump in and just give a brief anything, any question, anybody? Going once, going twice, nobody?
A leader who lead by example, who not afraid of doing what he says or what he passes instruction to do. He should be able to do it too, and just not pass instruction. As a leader, that will stand out for me.
Okay, good. Thank you. And also, I believe what's most important is a leader who could admit their mistake and take advice as well. Okay, thank you very much. Who was that, Joe?
Yes.
Next slide, please. Next slide. I guess we will take 2 minutes just to listen to this video that I came across, linking strategic vision to strategic action before different type of leaders. Leon, you could play, please.
The leaders are described based on their attention to vision and attention to action. The uninvolved, the doer, the dreamer, and the effective leader. Let's take a look. The leader who's low in both providing vision and stimulating action is uninvolved, not really a leader at all. The leader who's all action and little vision is a doer. He or she may be a hard worker and dedicated to the job and organization, but the doer is working blind. The dreamer, on the other hand, is good at providing the big idea with meaning for self and others. This leader may effectively inspire others with a vision, yet he or she is weak on executing strategic action. The vision in this case is only a dream, a fantasy, because it has little chance of ever becoming reality. To be an effective leader, one both dreams big and transforms those dreams into a significant strategic action, either through one's own activities or by hiring other leaders who can effectively execute the vision and the strategy. There are 4 levels that make up the domain of strategic leadership.
Thank you. Okay,
4
thanks.
types of
Thanks. Right, as you can see in the video that was played there are different type of leader. Right, you have the dreamer, the doer, the uninvolved, and the effective leader. Let me go a little in depth. The dreamer is a type of leader who is skilled, at supplying like ideas, which means of self and others, right? They effectively inspire others with vision, right? But they are lacking in strategic and action implementation. I believe all of us see that type of leader in work where we work once or twice, right? Their vision really, their vision is like sometimes like a fantasy because it's unlikely to become like a reality. Then we have the uninvolved leader, is someone who is inadequate at both offering vision and encouraging action, as well as being disengaged from the group. Then we have the doer. The doer, they work blindly sometimes, right? They can carry out a strategy and accomplish a task with consistency and dedication, but brings little values to it, right? You're working with people, you always see them active and always quick to do something, but they don't bring any value to it. Effective leader is the one who has huge dreams and turn them into meaningful actions, either by their own effort or by employing other leaders who can effectively implement like the vision, the plan, and the direction that they want to go. Next slide, please. How leaders lead: by seeing inwards and outwards. Right, to determine strategic direction for the future, leaders look inwards, outwards, and forward. Leaders scan both the internal and external organization environment to identify threats, trends, and opportunity for the organization. Right, viewing a company with a global and a vision of seeing that will be looking inwards, right? The rival strategies is like looking outwards, like outwards tendency. And if it is incorporate the two-factor fine-tuning the strategic strategies to provide your company that's looking outwards. Organization need both a board and inspiration, vision of underlying plans for how to achieve it. To decide and map a strategic direction, leaders strive to develop industry foresight based on trends in technology, government's regulations, value, and lifestyle that will help them identify new competitive advantage. Next slide, please. Next slide. Decision-making approach. Now we have two decision-making approaches, SWOT analysis approach and the 5-force analysis approach. Before we go on to the approach, we will talk about why do SWOT analysis have an approach. Next slide, please. SWOT analysis is a process that can help different types of businesses draw conclusions by enabling them to see the bigger picture clearly. Once they have obtained valuable data and insight, only then can business formulate a clever and strategic plan accordingly. SWOT analysis forces you to examine your business in new and interesting ways, your strength and weakness. This preparedness enables you to not only be ready for any challenges that might impact your business, but also offer a deeper understanding of potential opportunity or threats within your target markets. Next slide, please. So now I'll explain the first approach, SWOT analysis approach. This approach leaders takes in setting a course for the future is through hard analysis, situation analysis, or situation analysis. Like for example, including research for SWOT, strength, weakness, and opportunity, and threat that affect organizational performance. Right? Leaders uses situation analysis, obtaining external information from a variety of sources, such as customers, government, reports, suppliers, consultants, or association meeting. Right? They gather information about internal strengths and weaknesses from sources such as budget, financials, profit or loss statements, and employee survey. Right, with that in mind, in order to get a better sense of what a complete SWOT analysis might look like, take a look at these 5 steps I had in mind. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Right, the 5 steps to take in SWOT analysis: identifying your strengths, be aware of your weaknesses, recognize business opportunities, understanding potential threats, and make a business plan. Next slide, please. Right, now that you have learned about these SWOTs and how it can aid in decision making, now we're going to look at the second approach, which is the 5-force analysis. So we have the bargaining power of supplier, the bargaining power of customer, threats of new entrants, threats of substitute product, competitive rivalry within an industry. And the competitive rivalry within industry, that's the first of the 5 forces, refer to the number of competitors and their abilities to undercut a company. Right, the larger the number of the competitor, along with the numbers of equivalent product and service they offer, the least the power of the company. Right, for instance, suppliers and buyers seek out competitions if they are able to offer better deals or lower prices. Right, when competitive rivalry is low, companies have greater power to charge higher prices and set the terms of deals to achieve higher sales and profits. Next one is the potential of new entries into the an industry. Right, a company power is also affected by force of new entries into its markets. The less time and money it costs for a competitor to enter a company's market and be an effective competitor, the more a establishment company position could be significantly weakened. For instance, an industry with strong barriers to entry is ideal for existing companies within the industries since the company would be able to charge higher prices and negotiate better deals. The power of supply, the bargaining power of supply. This next factor is the Porter model, addressing how easily supply can drive up the cost of input. It affected by numbers of suppliers to key inputs of a good or good service, right? Or how unique these inputs are and how much it would cost a company to switch to another supplier. The fewer supplier to the industry, the more company will depend on a supplier. Right? As a result, the supplier has more power and can drive up input costs and push off others' advantage in trades. On the other hand, when there are many suppliers or low switching costs between rival supplier, a company can keep its input costs low and enhance its profits. Right, the bargaining power of customer. Right, the ability that customers have to drive prices lower or their level of power is one of the 5 forces. It is affected by how many buyers or customers a company has, how significant each customer is, and how much it would cost a company to find new customers or market for its outputs. Like a smaller or more powerful client base means that each customer has more power to negotiate for lower prices and a better deal. Or a company that has many smaller independent customers will have an easier time charging higher prices, increase of profitabilities. Right, and the last but not least, the threats of products, the substitute products. Right, the substitute good or service that can be used in place of company products or service pose of threats. Companies that produce good or service from which there are no close substitute will have more power to increase prices and lock a favorable deal. When close and substitute are available, customers will have the option to forego buyers. A company product and a company power can be weakened. Right? Understanding these 5 forces and how they applied in an industry can enable any company to adjust its business strategies to better use the resource to generate higher earning for its investors. Next slide, please. Next slide. All right, so the difference between Porter 5 forces and the SWOT analysis. Porter 5 forces analysis and the SWOT analysis are both tools used to analyze and make strategic decisions, right? So companies, analysts, and investment use Porter 5 forces to analyze the competitive environment within an industry, while they tend to use a SWOT analysis to look more deeply within an organization to analyze its internal potential. Next slide, please. The leaders impact. All right, now that we learn about the contribution and where we go into and stuff, we are going to learn about the impact the contribution we have. All right, knowing how to manage time effectively is probably the most important trait of a leader. Foreseeing on contribution, impact, and efficiency are a leader's primary goal. Their success is not a one-man show. Communication, teamwork, self-develop, and development of others are essential markers for the product and organization. So a leader's assessment that provide managers and executives with unique insight into their personal leadership strategies and the impact of these strategies are others' behavior measures in terms of their styles and performance. So as a leader have profound impact on their overall work environment. They create an atmosphere of trust and respect within the teams, foster creativities and collaboration. Strategic vision and action are frequently where leaders has the most direction. According to research, strategic planning and thinking may have a favorable impact on companies' performance and financial success. According to the different research, strategic leadership may account for up to 44% of the variation of the profitability of significant organization. Right? These studies force that leaders' succession will associate with improved profit and stock prices, although good economic condition and industry circumstances play a part in improving performance for any organization. The top leader had an impact beyond these factors overall, where research has been carefully done. Like the top leader success typically explain from 20% to 45% of the variance of organizational outcome. Although research as the area of leader impact is still relevantly limited, it does some of the affirm that believe that the choice leaders make have a significant impact on organization performance. So I will end here with this and take some time. I would like you all to take some time to think about what type of leader you want to be and what impact you want to leave as a leader. Are there any questions? No? Okay. Next slide, Joe.
That's it.
Next slide.
That's it.
Okay, so this is our reference where we get our informations. If there's no question, I just want to thank everyone for taking the time out to listen to our group. Thank you very much and have a blessed day.